Happy Wednesday, UnWoke Nation, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 70 of The UnWoke Show, where free speech is welcome, all subjects are on the table, and your boys Rich and Tim bring you the latest and greatest information for your entertainment, baby. I'm your host, Rich, along with my co-host here, Tim. How you doing, Timmy?
Oh, great, Rich, man. Glad to be back. Guys, want to bring you another great week of The UnWoke Show. We want to do some house cleaning stuff. Beforehand, guys, we've got a lot of great content out there. You can reach us on all the major podcasting platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Listen Notes, Podchaser. Wherever you get your podcasts, guys, look for us. We're out there. There's plenty of great content for you. And tonight we're going to kick things off with something that has come up in the news recently.
Yes.
And so this is just something I couldn't leave alone. So tonight's episode is called Trump Hates the U.S. Military. Okay. This stems from comments made about the Congressional Medal of Honor that is handed to civilians. Mm-hmm. Trump is quoted as saying that the Congressional Medal of Honor was much better than its top military honor because the service members who received the latter are in very bad shape or dead.
Huh?
Yeah. Basically, in my opinion, that's a giant finger to all of our military servicemen and women who have fought in the line of duty, who have earned their stripes, Purple Hearts, Medal of Honor winners, you name it, Valor winners. It goes on, right? And this isn't the first time that Trump has had a beef with the military. Okay. So back in 2020, Trump has repeatedly disparaged the intelligence of service members and asked that wounded veterans be kept out of military parades. Okay. That goes back to, he didn't want military veterans in parades or wounded people in parades because it showed off the wrong message, right? So back in 2020, Trump had canceled a visit to Isigny-Marne American Cemetery near Paris in 2018. He blamed rain for the last-minute decision, saying that the helicopter couldn't fly and that the Secret Service wouldn't drive him there. Of course, that claim is not true. Trump rejected the idea of the visit because he feared his hair would become disheveled in the rain and because he did not believe it important to honor American war dead, according to 4 people with firsthand knowledge of the discussion that day. In a conversation with senior staff members on the morning of the scheduled visit, Trump said, "Why should I go to that cemetery? It's filled with losers." Okay. In a separate conversation on the same trip, Trump referred to the more than 1,800 Marines who lost their lives at Belleau Wood as suckers for getting killed.
Yeah, I know. I know it was brought. You brought it to my attention in regards to the whole thing with the Medal of Honor, and I know when I got that information, I was just kind of like, no, man, no, you did not. But I had to do my own digging and find out what he said to make sure that I heard it. Because, nowadays with the media, sometimes they'll, kind of pick out certain areas or something like that or so. And it's like, but I just want to hear it. But I mean, what he said about the Medal of Honor, I mean, he truly did say that.
Right.
It's kind of like, wait a minute, man. It's like, if I stand correct so one of your largest voting blocks is the military. So, it was just one of those moments where it seems like, did you really think that out before, you really said it? I mean, it's just like, really think that out, man. I mean, these are people, as we always say on UnWoke Show, much respect to all you guys, men and women out there who have served your country. We realize where, you guys basically took the time to say, hey, I'm going to defend my country with my life. And when you hear something like that, I mean, it was just disappointing to me, since I know people who are currently serving in the military and some people who are veterans or served in Afghanistan, different places like that. I can think of one particular person I would love to be able to ask, who, didn't sacrifice his life and all, but he lost several limbs, to defend his country. And it's like, yeah, just to hear, their opinion on, like, what was your thoughts when you heard about that. But this is just one of those moments where, unfortunately, Trump, it's like he gets to talking, and then it's like he gets to the point where it's like he says things, and then it's like, I don't know if you like try to take it back like a couple seconds, like you think about it later, like, wait, what did I just say? And it's already on national news by that point.
It's already
it's
already made the headlines.
Yeah, it's already made the headline, and at that point, it's like there's nothing you can do. And it's like, man, it's because I remember texting you when you told me that. I said, I literally said out loud when you sent me the information, I said, Donald, why can't you get out of your own way?
Yeah, exactly. And so, for proper context, guys,
yes.
Trump was speaking at an event on anti-Semitism at his Bedminster, New Jersey estate. Trump was discussing Miriam Adelson and her late husband, Sheldon Adelson, the billionaire pro-Israel GOP megadonors who set a donation record in 2020 for spending over $170 million. Trump bestowed the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Miriam Adelson in 2018 for her history of contributions to U.S. national interests and world peace. Okay. Trump is quoted as saying, "That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor," Trump said. But the civilian version, it's actually much better because everyone who gets the Congressional Medal of Honor, they're soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Trump has a history of making controversial comments about veterans, receiving backlash from them during both his 2016 and 2020 campaigns. But now, in an ironic turn of events, both parties' vice presidential candidates are veterans. Okay. And as the GOP attacks the service record of the Democratic vice presidential hopeful, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Trump's comments Thursday gave Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign ammunition for a counterattack.
I would agree. Yeah, because I remember saying that, if he came to, or people who are in Trump's campaign, and be able to say, like, Don, what you just said was really bad, and you need to do an apology, like, right now.
Yeah.
And we have yet to, unfortunately, see that. But it's like, I said that too. It's like, you need to say something right now. It's like, hey, you know what? Maybe you misspoke. Whatever you need to say. And also, because it just doesn't make sense, or that you would flippantly say that. I guess that's a good way to say it. It was just flippantly say something like, it's like, think, man.
Yeah. So, what I'm about to read is incredibly accurate. Donald Trump knows nothing about service to anyone or anything but himself. Harris campaign senior spokesperson Serafina Chitika said Friday in a statement, "For him to insult Medal of Honor recipients just as he has previously attacked Gold Star families, mocked prisoners of war, and referred to those who lost their lives in service to our country as suckers and losers, should remind all Americans that we owe it to our service members in our country and our future to make sure Donald Trump is never president again," basically. Right.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So, that's obviously, we're quoting her opinion. But some of that is actually true. The comments about suckers and losers, that is absolutely out there. Anybody can go and Google that and find actual information talking about that, right? Vote for Vets, which is a progressive veterans PAC, claimed in a statement that Donald Trump hates veterans and their sacrifice because he looks so small in comparison to them.
I mean, those guys, I mean, they are true warriors.
Yeah, they are true warriors. And this, this episode goes out to all of our veterans currently serving, who have served in the past, right? You don't deserve to be blasted in this manner, right? I mean, it makes my blood boil to hear such blatant disrespect given towards our military service members. Okay. It's a complete kick in the face, right? And Donald Trump should look small against veterans because his own draft dodging record says it all. Okay. He did everything possible to avoid being drafted, but yet he has the balls to insult our American servicemen and women and claim that a civilian award is much better than the military version of that.
Yeah, and again, this, as I stated before, man, it's just one of those things like, you just can't make flippant statements like that. You got to really think it out, especially, and I know, like I said, we just call it like it is here. It's like, when you're in a situation where you have a lot of people either just don't like you for however way you handle, or there are people out there foaming at the mouth trying to find another reason to dislike you. I mean, yeah, you have to be a little on the careful side, and I know it's weird coming out of us being UnWoke Nation, but, you have to find yourself where it's like, okay, I have 4 months to try to win a campaign. And the last thing I want to do is piss off one to maybe two, one of maybe two or three of my largest voting blocks by saying something absolutely stupid.
Right.
So, I mean, I know somebody who's won a Purple Heart, and that says something. I mean, it's like they just don't hand those things out in Cracker Jack boxes.
No, that you have to.
I mean, you had to endure something. I mean, like whether you died or you did something, obviously being something heroic or where it's like that, So like the person I just mentioned a couple minutes ago, they won a Purple Heart.
Right.
I've seen it. So it's like, come on, man, think.
And so, again, even in 2015, Trump made headlines when he asserted that the Arizona Republican senator and former presidential candidate John McCain, who spent 5.5 years being tortured as a prisoner of war in North Vietnam, was not a war hero because I like people who were not captured.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. I mean, it's like, yeah, that spat between those two.
Yeah, it was nasty. But again, it's just another fact out there and another slap in the face to all of our hardworking servicemen and women who put themselves out there to protect our country on a daily basis, right? To think that he could provide any real relevance when standing next to a service member. I mean, getting back to that feeling small, absolutely. Because there's nothing that he could do in his alleged successful business career that would ever top a Congressional Medal of Honor winner or anything like that, right?
I mean, I know America is a country where that loves successful people. I get that, but no matter how successful you are, it's like, I mean, these guys, they passed up, probably going to college or doing different things where they could have done, or where to say that, hey, I'm willing to serve our country. 9/11 was a very, interesting time where, so because that was probably like one of the largest times we've had people who ended up going into office saying like, hey, I'm willing to defend my country, probably since 1941.
Right.
And people willing to just give up their lives. I'm sure some of these people probably had great careers and all, but they were of the age to say, hey, I'm willing to drop my job that I've worked for, whoever it is, to go fight in Iraq or whatever. I mean, that's a sacrifice. I mean,
do you remember the Tillmans?
Yeah. They played pro football.
They sacrificed their pro football careers to go serve in the U.S. military. I believe it was the Army as Army Rangers. And what is it? The Pat Tillman Award
To this day,
Yeah,
yep.
because he was killed in action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and remember when Trump got COVID?
Yeah.
Do you know who he blamed?
Oh,
Gold Star families.
really?
Yeah. So in 2020, Democrats slammed Trump for suggesting Gold Star families could have given him COVID as they discussed with him their fallen family members.
Mm. Yeah, this is again. It's just one of the things. Like, man, you need to start really thinking about stuff. It's like, yeah, you really need to start thinking about what you're doing and what you're saying and stuff like that. It's like, I know everybody was always make fun of Trump. I'm sorry, not Trump, but Biden when he does his gaffe, or I mean, he's self-complaining, basic gaffe machine.
Right.
I get it, but yeah, there's just certain things, man. It's like, where you got to get it together. You really, really do. And for me, I was disappointed. I was very disappointed. I didn't serve in the military, but just like Tim, I respect the military a lot. And to hear something like that, I was like, really, man, come on, get out of your own way.
Yeah. So I'm going to read the response from Vote for Vets, right? And again, in a stunning statement, Donald Trump claimed the Presidential Medal of Freedom, often given to celebrities, is better than the Congressional Medal of Honor because everyone who gets a Congressional Medal, they're soldiers. They're in a very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets or they're dead. In response, Vote for Vets posted the following response on its social media channels on behalf of its over 1.5 million supporters, including veterans, military families, and their civilian supporters. It isn't a one-off insult of our troops and our veterans. It started when he got out of Vietnam by lying about bone spurs, continued on when he tried to kick veteran vendors off of Fifth Avenue, insulted John McCain, insulted Gold Star families, called our fallen suckers and losers, refused to go to a military cemetery, told the military to stop having wounded warriors perform at ceremonies because nobody wants to see that. It isn't just that Donald Trump doesn't respect veterans and their sacrifice. It's that Donald Trump hates veterans and their sacrifice because, again, he looks so small in comparison to them. That is coming directly from Votes for Vets. And, that is the perfect summary to all of this. You're in an election year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Bad timing.
Bad timing for sure. But, again, to your point, getting out of your own way. I mean, he has a real chance of losing.
I mean, yeah, I feel like there was some momentum and stuff going on, and then it's like you would think, unfortunately, due to the attempted assassination of where, so that it would kind of like, what would you say, kind of humble him a little bit.
Yeah, not even close. It only emboldened him.
And it just seemed like it's like after a while he kind of went back to his kind of normal, kind of saying these different things and everything like that. I don't know. Again, like I said, it was just surprising. And I agree with you. You're in an election year. You have to be really, really careful about what you're saying. Make sure, because, whether they were saying at the Democrat convention or saying that, they're trying to make, everything sound like, this is a country divided. Well, I'm sorry, Barack. It is a country divided.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, you have two candidates that have to figure out a way to have them understand their purpose, so what they're trying to do if they became president, and also, but try to bring the country back together. And right now, every word counts. I mean, if you think about this, so Kamala Harris has just came into a race where normally your average person has about 2 years to be able to run.
Yep. Okay.
She's got 4 months. 4 months.
Yeah.
I mean, so talk about you having to learn something really quickly, so your boss couldn't get the job done. And so now they threw your butt in there, and also because, well, they need it.
And now you're running your mouth.
Yeah.
Hating on veterans.
Right.
touting that a civilian, an award, let's just call it that, a civilian award, forget a medal, right? It's just a civilian award, is somehow better than any military service-based award. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. It's like, they both have to be, careful what I say. But in the topic at hand, it is one of those things of, it's like, yeah, buddy, you're already kind of in a situation where a lot of people don't like you. So your words matter so much more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also then things that she can say. It's not that she probably hasn't said stuff that's wrong, but still, it's like, you've already had a head start. Everybody knows what you're like being president. People know you tend to be brash and kind of say exactly what's on your mind. People have said, even people amongst the Republican Party have said, well, sometimes he's not really presidential and stuff like that. I have to agree. There's times where I've said, like, you shouldn't be saying things like that. But you got to just watch what you say. And I know, again, like I said, that is very much not the UnWoke show, but
no,
we're talking about politics and becoming the leader of the free world. So.
It's one thing if this was an attack on Kamala Harris, and then we'd be like, well, it's just Donald running his mouth. But this is our military. These are people protecting our borders and protecting the Constitution, defending against all matters of defending against both foreign and domestic adversaries, right? I mean, these people put their lives on the line.
Yes.
And so you know what the Trump campaign is doing now? They're trying to steer Donald Trump's dipshit comments about veterans, and they're trying to go after Tim Walz's service record in what they're calling a steal the valor attack, basically.
Well, it has been proven, and there are people who served at that time have said that the title that he's claiming that he's had, he
had it, but he has actually claimed it, but he had to serve in that role for 3 years, which he didn't in order to claim that as part of retirement. Okay.
So, but what we're looking at is all this time he's been using this as if he's actually done it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's like, you can't do that, man.
The only difference is this guy served, and Donald Trump continues to backhand the military face to face.
No, you're right.
In the face, right?
No, you're right about that. I understand.
But this is how they're trying to deflect it, and it doesn't take away from the fact that, if I'm in the military, Donald Trump doesn't deserve my vote. Just on that alone, right?
And again, man, it's like, it's as simple as saying, like, okay, you know what? I effed up. I said the wrong thing. I had no business saying something like that. Granted, what you're saying is like, I never served in the military. Right. How dare I be able to say something like that? I apologize for what I said. So you guys have served tremendously. You're the warriors of this country or any country. Yeah. And be able to do just something that's on. That's why I said what I said today. I'm like, bro, you need to apologize quickly.
Yeah.
It's been over a week now.
Or just shut the fuck up.
Well, yep, you can do that too. Or just use a brain cell.
Yeah, exactly. So, UnWoke Nation, we're going to leave it right there for you guys. We want to thank you for tuning in. As always, again, guys, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Listen Notes, Podchaser. Guys, wherever you get your podcasting content, do a search for us. You'll find us out there. Plenty of great content for you to download and listen to. And as always, stay on.